Welcome to Pilates Express, the spine number 1. For this express class, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need a pillow. It can just be a pillow from the couch, but I use my Pilates pillow with my towel. You can have a little half-kilogram weight, or you can just pick up your phone and use that. And you may want to use a roller as well, but that is optional. And also make sure you have your pet at hand as well. We're going to start by lying down on the floor, on your back. We're going to place our feet as wide as your mat, so your little toe is touching the edge of the mat. Your arms are down on the floor in a low V. You can have palms to the floor or palms to the ceiling, it's your choice. We're going to take our knees down to one side, letting the feet tip off the floor, and then we're going to turn our head in the opposite direction. We're going to pull back to the center, starting with the back of the ribs first, then the back of the pelvis, then the knees. We're going to inhale to take our knees down the other way, turning your head the opposite direction. Exhale, pull back to the center, ribs, hips, knees. Inhale to go down the other way. Exhale, pull back to the center, ribs, hips, knees. As you go down to the other side, think about the diagonal stretch from your knee across the front of your legs up through the waist to the shoulders, pulling back to the center, reaching out through the fingertips. Nice long line. You should be experiencing a nice gentle twisty feeling in your lower spine, as well as some mobilization in your hips. We're going to do one more to each side. Inhale to go down. Feel free to close your eyes if you like. Exhale, pull back to the center. One more time. Inhale to go down. Exhale, pull back, ribs, hips, knees. Knees and feet are together now. Super glue them together, and you're going to move as though you have one leg. We're going to inhale to take the knees down to one side, letting your feet tip as you go. Don't let that top knee slide past the bottom knee. Keep them together. Exhale, pull back to the center. Pull back the back of the shoulder first, then the back of the ribs, then the back of the pelvis, then the knees. Inhale to go down the other way. You can turn your head the opposite direction if you like. Exhale, pull back to the center, ribs, hips, knees. Inhale to go down. You might be feeling that stretch higher up through your spine now. Now there should be no pain with these movements, just stretchy feelings. If you're experiencing pain in your hip or your back, make your movements smaller. Don't take your knees down so far. Work out of your range of pain. Don't push yourself past that point of pain. Pulling back to the center. Inhale to take the knees down. Exhale, pull back, ribs, hips, knees. Let's do one more to each side. Can you go that little bit further now? Thinking about that elongation, that diagonal line from the tip of the knee across the waist to the shoulder. Last time. Inhale to go down. Exhale, pull back, ribs, hips, knees. Next, we're going to roll over onto our sides. You're going to need your pillow now. So slide that pillow underneath your head. If you have a half-kilogram weight or your telephone handy, pick that up. You're going to lie with your head on your pillow. Your knees are in front of the hips, but your pelvis is in neutral. So a neutral pelvis is a gentle curve this way in your back. You don't want to be curled up like this. Neutral through the pelvis. You're going to have your arms out in front with your palms together. If you've got a weight, pop your weight in your top hand. You're going to bring that arm up to the ceiling, letting your head roll until you're looking at the ceiling. Leave your head there and keep your knees and your hips still as you take your arm behind you, rotating through the spine. Then you're going to bring that arm back up to the ceiling. Let the head roll until you return hand to hand. This time we're going to breathe in to bring the arm up. Exhale, rotate through the spine, keep the hips and knees still. Take the arm a little bit higher than the shoulder, so about ear height rather than down here. Bring that arm up to the ceiling and return hand to hand. We inhale to bring the arm up. Exhale to rotate. Look at the ceiling. Inhale to bring the arm back up. Exhale to return. Imagine that your spine is a wet towel and you're trying to wring water out of that wet towel. Inhale to come up. Exhale to rotate. Inhale to return the arm up to the ceiling. Exhale hand to hand. Let's change the breath pattern slightly. We're going to inhale to bring the arm up. Exhale to rotate. You're going to stay here on the inhale. On the exhale, just sink into that twist a little bit deeper through the spine. Inhale to bring the arm up. Exhale to return. Inhale to bring that arm up. Exhale to rotate. Long through the back of the neck. Inhale to hold there. Bring your mind to your spine. Exhale, sink deeper into the twist. Inhale to bring the arm up. Exhale to return. We're going to do 2 more. Now the aim of this exercise is to rotate through the upper spine, right between the shoulder blades. We want to almost push that top hip forward a little bit as we exhale into our stretch. Inhale to come up. Exhale to return. It doesn't matter how far your arm goes. Your arm is there to facilitate the rotation in your spine, and everyone will go to a different point. Exhale, draw the ribs under the bra line in as you sink into that stretch. Inhale to bring the arm up and exhale to return. If you want to do some more on that side, just pause the video, do a few more, and then return to the video. Let's roll over to the other side. Hands are together. Make sure pelvis is in neutral, long in the back of the neck. We inhale to bring the arm up. Let the head and eyes roll to you looking at the ceiling. Exhale to rotate. Keep your eyes looking at the ceiling. Inhale to bring your arm up to the ceiling and exhale to return. Inhale to bring the head up, the arm up. Just let the head roll as you rotate. Push that top hip forward slightly. Inhale to bring the arm up and exhale to return. Let's change the breath pattern now. Inhale to come up. Exhale to rotate, lengthening out through the fingers of both hands. Let's inhale to hold. Exhale to sink deeper into your stretch. Roll that top hip forward. We'll inhale to bring the arm up and exhale to return. Inhale to bring that arm up to the ceiling. Exhale to rotate. Bring your mind into your spine. Inhale to hold. Exhale, draw the ribs closer at the front and relax down into that stretch. If you have pain in your shoulder and you're holding a weight, pop that weight down. The shoulder is a very unstable joint, so adding load to the hand here can really increase that stretch, which can be great for a lot of people, but not for other people. You don't want that weight to be any more than 1/2 kilogram, 500 grams. Take note of how this side feels. Does it feel different to the first side? Can you rotate more easily, or do you feel a little bit stiffer on this side? And that can change from day to day. Let's do 1 more, matching the breath with the movement and the movement with the breath. Inhale to come up, exhale. Inhale to hold, exhale to sink into that stretch. Inhale to bring the arm up and exhale to return. We're going to pop that weight down. Move the pillow off to the side, and if you have a roller or some yoga blocks, you can use those for the next one. We're going to be stretching out the front of our legs and the back of our legs. When the muscles in our legs are tight, that can relate to what's happening in the spine. It can pull the pelvis out of its neutral position, which can cause low back pain. So we're going to come into a lunging position. You can put a pillow under your knee or a towel under your knee or something to support under that knee if it feels uncomfortable to have it on the floor. I've got a mat underneath my carpet here, so it's nice and soft for me. We're going to come into a lunge with the foot underneath the knee. We're going to place our hands on the roller or on the floor or on your yoga blocks. We're going to take a breath in and we're going to think about lengthening from the crown of the head to the tail. As we exhale, we're going to just gently deepen into the stretch. Then we're going to push back to neutral, put your hands on the floor. You're going to swing your tail up, trying to flatten your back, and then you're going to hinge backwards. And you should feel the stretch right underneath here in the hamstrings. We're going to inhale to grow long from the crown of the head to the coccyx bone. Exhale into the stretch. Come back to neutral, hands on the roller. We're going to do 2 breaths now. We're going to inhale to lengthen, lifting the chest up towards the ceiling. Exhale into your stretch. Of course, if this isn't deep enough for you, you can place your elbows on the floor. I can't get down that far, unfortunately. Another breath to grow long. Exhale into that stretch. Coming back to neutral, swinging your tail up, hinging backwards. Inhale to lift the chest and grow long again. Exhale, send your sitting bones behind you to increase the length. Inhale to grow long. Exhale, deepening into that stretch. Back to neutral, we're going to do 1 more round with 3 breaths this time. Taking a breath in to grow long. Exhale into the stretch. Breathing in to lengthen, lift the chest. Exhale into the stretch. Last breath. Coming back to neutral, swinging up, flattening that back, hinging backwards, reaching your sitting bones up to the ceiling behind you. Inhale to hold. Exhale into the stretch. Inhale, grow longer through the spine. You might also be feeling it in the back of your calf. If you want it more in your hamstrings, you can bend your knee and bring those hips back further. Last breath. Coming forward, and then we'll swap to the other side. Bringing the other leg in front. Making sure that that foot is underneath the ankle in your lunge. Hands on the floor, roll the blocks. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale to sink. Feeling that stretch opening up through the front of the hip. Coming back to neutral, swinging tail up, hinging backwards. You can also put your hands on yoga blocks here if it's more comfortable for you. Inhale, lift up the chest. Exhale, sending sitting bones behind you. You might also get it up through the front of your ankle here. Coming forward. Remember, stretching feelings are not pain. They are deep stretching feelings. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, sinking into that stretch. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale into our stretch. Back to neutral. Swinging tail up, hinging backwards. Lifting the chest on the inhale. Sinking further into that stretch on the exhale. You don't have to physically sink into that stretch. You can just visualize deepening into the stretch. Coming forward for our 3 breath round. Breathing in to grow tall. Exhale. If you want to bring that eye gaze forward and up, you can, if that helps you get a little bit longer. Back to neutral, swinging tail up, hinging backwards. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, send those sitting bones behind you. Last breath. Even deeper into that stretch. Come back to neutral, bring the leg back, push your roller to the side. Flip over. If it's comfortable to do so, you're going to place your hands behind you, fingertips facing your hips. Chin to chest, roll back over the sitting bones, belly button to the spine, and support yourself with those elbows as you come down. We're going to set up for spine curls and pelvic tilts. So your feet and your knees are going to be as wide as your hip bones. That's only about this far apart. So we don't want to be too wide out here. They're quite close together. Your arms are down by our sides. You're going to close your eyes. We're going to think about the parts of our body that are touching the floor, starting with our toes. They're in parallel. Our big toe, little toe, and heel are touching the floor. Our knees are bent. The back of our pelvis, the flat part at the back of our pelvis, is heavy into the floor. I want you to think about relaxing all the muscles around the hips, around the glutes. Think past the muscles to the bones. The bony shape of that pelvis is heavy into the floor. Your lower spine is gently curving away from the floor. Once again, bring your mind past the fleshy bits, past the muscles to the structure of the spine. It's gently curving away from the floor. The lower ribs, right up to the base of the neck, are all connected to the floor. The back of your shoulders, so your shoulder blades, are flat into the floor. Your upper arms, elbows, outsides of your hands, your fingertips are all touching the floor. Our neck is gently curving away from the floor, and the back of our head is touching the floor. Now, if you're finding that your chin is tilted back because you can't quite get your head comfortably on the floor, just grab a towel and make a little pillow and slide it underneath your head. You want that neck to be in line with the rest of the spine, so don't come too high, just fold that towel up, slide it underneath the head. All we're going to do is breathe. I want you to think about the rib cage and all the way down to the bottom of the lungs. We're going to inhale, expanding the ribs, the back and the sides of the ribs. As we exhale, we're going to visualize sinking the sternum, the heart, the ribs down into the floor. Inhale, expanding the space between the ribs, filling up your lungs right to the bottom of the lungs. Exhale, visualize sinking your heart, sternum, ribs, open the front of the shoulders. Inhale. Can you inhale out to the sides of the room? Inhale so much through those lungs, almost popping your bra strap open. Exhale, sink ribs, sternum, heart, open the front of the shoulders. Relax all the muscles down through the floor. One more breath, inhaling. Not bringing that breath into the shoulders, we're pushing out through the rib cage, out to the sides. We're going to move into a small movement called a pelvic tilt now. So I'll just pull my top up a bit so you can see what's happening here. Our pelvis is in neutral here, so we've got that curve under the low back and the flat part of the pelvis is touching the floor. We're going to come out of neutral by tilting the pelvis until that lower back connects to the floor, and then we're going to rock the pelvis back to neutral. So you can think about that bony shape of the pelvis. It's like a bowl and it's flat on the bottom. You're rolling it, tilting it until that lower back touches the floor, then rocking it back to neutral. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. We're going to exhale, sink the ribs down, open the shoulders, tilt the pelvis until that lower back touches the floor. Now inhale, rock your pelvis back to neutral without letting your ribs pop up. Exhale, sink the ribs down, tilt your pelvis. Inhale, rock back to neutral, keep those ribs down. So you shouldn't find that your head is sliding up and down because we're isolating this movement in the last 5 bones of the spine. Now the muscles around the glutes are nice and relaxed. So relax all those muscles and think about moving through the bones. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, sink the ribs down, open the shoulders, tilt the pelvis. Your lower tummy should be concave. Inhale, rock back to neutral. Your abs stay soft and relaxed. Exhale to tilt, scoop that lower tummy gently, becomes concave this way. Inhale, rock back to neutral. If you want to put your hands on your ribs under the bra line, you can. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, sink those ribs, tilt the pelvis. Inhale, rock back to neutral. Don't let those ribs pop up. Exhale. Can you get a little bit more movement in that lower spine now? Inhale to return. We're going to go all the way up. We're going to start exactly the same way. So you're going to exhale to tilt the pelvis. Then you're going to squeeze your glutes here. And if you're not sure if you're doing it, you can put your fingertips on your glutes. Pick up your hips and roll your spine up towards the ceiling. When you get to the top, you should be able to draw a straight line from your knee through to your hip, through to your shoulder. We're going to roll down one bone at a time, taking the top of the spine down, belly button to the spine, unrolling the spine, lower back connects to the floor, and then we rock back to neutral. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, pick up the hips, roll on up. Inhale at the top. Exhale, open the front of those shoulders and come down one bone at a time, lengthening through the sides of the waist. Lengthening in between each bone in your vertebrae, soft toes, big toe touching the floor. Inhale, rock back to neutral. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, then squeeze the glutes, then pick the hip up. This time on the way down, you can imagine you're lying on the beach on wet, firm sand. You're going to imprint each vertebrae into the sand as you take it down onto the floor independently. Individual articulation of the spine. Inhale, rock back to neutral. Now, if you're getting cramps in the back of your legs, press your palms into the floor at the same time. Squeeze the glutes, press the palms down, rolling up. That will help reduce those cramps. Inhale at the top. Exhale to roll down, one bone at a time. Let's do one more. There are lots of variations of this exercise, but for our express class today, we're just going to do this one variation. Can you get even more length in your spine on the way down? Can you grow 2 centimeters taller? Let's finish off this express class with a glute stretch. You're going to cross one ankle over your knee. You're going to lift your foot off the floor, put your arm through the window and hold on to the back of your thigh. Now, if you can't reach your leg, put your head under a pillow. And then your head is supported and it's easier to reach that leg. I'll just change my angle here so you can see a bit better. Now, if you're already feeling a strong stretch, you can stay there. Otherwise, what you can do is rock away from the stretching side and then tilt back to the center. Rock away and tilt back. And that will increase the stretch in the back of this hip here. Rock away and return. Rock away. If you are really tight, you might want to do a short stretch on this side, go to the other side, then come back to the second side. Let's slowly release that leg and swap to the other side. Now I'm going to show you another variation if you're still finding it difficult to hold on to your leg. So you'll need a piece of furniture or the wall for this one. So I'm just going to scoot over to my mirror. You place your feet on the wall or the piece of furniture. Lift your hips up off the floor, cross your ankle over, place your hips down. Then you don't need to use your arms. So you can get in deeper if you want a deeper stretch using this variation. Or for those that find it hard to hold on to the back of their leg, this is a great one for you. Just hold that stretch, and then if you feel like you want to, you can rock away from the stretching side back to the center. So I've got my left knee out here. I'm rocking to the right and back, and that's increasing the length through that hip in a dynamic stretch. It's gentle and slow. Of course, if you want to go a little bit deeper and stretch longer, you can keep going after this express class has finished. One more rock. And then we're going to hug our knees into our chest. If you want to give your lower back a little massage, you can roll around in a circle. You can roll the other way. And then we're going to go side to side because we're going to play cracking eggs. So you're going to pretend you're an egg and you're not allowed to break your egg. So hold on to the front of those knees. You're going to roll over in one movement until you're on your knees without cracking your egg. It's a bit of fun. Then we're going to tuck our toes under. Hands are on the floor. We're going to bring our hips up towards the ceiling, chin tucked in. Now you don't have to touch the floor. You can just let your arms hang wherever they go, keeping the knees slightly bent. We're slowly going to unroll that spine. I'm going to go out of shot here, but just keep listening. Stacking each bone on the one below. Lifting the head up last, taking a breath in, bringing arms up and out, bringing arms down to the sides. I hope your spine is feeling a little bit happier. See you next time.